Here, on behalf of both Healthway and the Perth Wildcats, I'm very excited and pleased to announce a 3-year partnership with Healthway to promote the Alcohol Think Again message in what I believe is the next step for the Perth Wildcats. For those of you who know the Wildcats and Healthway, you will be aware that this is a relationship that has been in place for more than 20 years. And I believe it is a relationship of two organisations that have numerous shared values and have worked together to our strengths and to promote these shared values over the many years. Going back a few years, you know, we promoted the anti-smoking message, the anti-drug message, healthy eating, in recent years, and in certainly the last 2 years, the Alcohol Think Again message. The club has walked the talk over these years. I remember very well my first week in the job where we had to terminate a contract of one of our imports because he didn't pass a drug test when we were promoting an anti-drug message. The club has tried, as often as it has the opportunity, to live by these values because we believe in them. Having Healthway support us just makes walking the talk a lot easier, and it also supports us financially as well. We have worked with Healthway certainly over the last 3 years to address the way we as a nation and as a state have had some bad eating habits. We think we've made some inroads into that, but in more recent times, alcohol abuse is becoming a growing problem. Young kids, especially teenagers, are making abusing alcohol a pastime, and this is fairly serious. We know that alcohol abuse not only takes lives but destroys lives. It destroys options, and the Wildcats have very strong views on this. And we've decided to take this message to the next level. Over the next 3 years, we will work with the various stakeholders in this state to send this message and be role models to encourage people not to abuse alcohol. This is not a message about being altar boys and teetotalers. This is a message about not abusing alcohol. This is a message about identifying the dangers that are associated with binge drinking. We hope that we represent a role model program, a pathway for young kids who aspire to be like Brad Robbins and like Sean Radich and like Damien Martin and like Jeremiah Truman, and all the other players, and like our coaches and support staff who want to be like this. And we hope that they will see in us role models, examples and lifestyles that are exciting, that put you on the global stage, that make you successful and have a good time without having to turn to alcohol as a sense of relief or satisfaction or enjoyment. We are moving to the city. At our doorstep will be Northbridge. We know by picking up the newspaper or listening to the radio that the effects of alcohol abuse will be at our doorstep. We think this is a great opportunity, a time where we can face and address these issues that have plagued us in recent years, and we hope that we can encourage young people especially to take and follow our lead in having fun without abusing alcohol. That's it from me. I'll hand over to Dr. Rosanna Kwapalinga and we'll take questions after that.
Yeah, thank you, Nick. You know, all congratulations to the Wildcats, seriously, for being role models and for pushing away from alcohol sponsorship in basketball. Alcohol is, as Nick has said, an incredibly serious issue for all of us. In WA, we have the highest rate of alcohol consumption in Australia, and Australia ranks very highly in the world, and it's not a stat to be proud of, and it's not alcohol consumption that is safe, it is dangerous alcohol consumption. 5 young Australians under the age of 25 die every week due to hazardous drinking in Australia. You know, 44% of of 16 and 17-year-olds in Western Australia say they drink to get drunk. That is their goal in drinking, and they think that getting drunk is the best way of relaxing, as compared perhaps to playing sport. So we've got a serious problem, and the Wildcats are role models. Sport is very important to Australians, it's important to young kids, and the Wildcats stand out. They push back against alcohol sponsorship. They're promoting the Alcohol Think Again message. This is what we need to help turn that tide of alcohol that has swamped us in WA. So I am very proud of Healthway's ongoing relationship with the Wildcats. We're funding them to the tune of $1.5 million over the next 3 years, $500,000 a year, for them to promote the Alcohol Think Again message. And I think you can tell by Nick's commitment and the team's commitment that they're serious about that, that they feel that responsibility that they have to the kids and the young people of WA to be role models and to put out that message very clearly that we don't have to get drunk, we don't have to use alcohol to have a good time, to be successful, to enjoy the companionship of our and mateship of our friends. Something that we have really got to bring forward once again. And Northbridge is a very appropriate place. I was thinking that this morning to put this message out. So the Wildcats coming back into the city is an important thing. Perth, to some degree, this side of Perth has been hijacked by binge drinking. You know, we read the stories regularly about people being glassed, about people being king hit, about kids, you know, when they're hit, falling and hitting their heads on the curb, and then a few days later, parents are turning off the life support. It happens. It happens too often. You lose one child, two kids a year, 3 kids a year at the age of 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. It's far too many. It's something that should not occur at all. So maybe this is the beginning of an evolution over time of the Northbridge and the city being given back to an environment where you can enjoy yourself safely and where parents aren't fearsome when their kids come into Northbridge. So congratulations, Wildcat. I'm very, very pleased to be sitting here at this table with all of you with the message that you're putting out to everyone in WA. Thank you.
Sean, do you want to say something? You got any questions?
Just Nick, I suppose by having this sponsorship, how much pressure does it put on the club or even the players themselves? We see a lot of athletes get in trouble over the time. Does that put a lot of pressure on the team and also the club?
I don't think so. We've handpicked every single person in our organisation, from the head coach to the guy that wipes the floors, and we all share the same core values. And if it is pressure, then we shouldn't be in this relationship. Are we going to make mistakes? I hope not, but we might. We might. We're all human. But it is what we aim to do and our track record that all I have as a foundation for where we're heading. You cannot predict the future. There are no guarantees. But from my head coach, as I said, to the guy that wipes the floor, we all believe in what we do. And I hope that answers your question.
Sean, from your perspective as a player?
No, I think that the group of guys we have, this team, I think the culture of, you know, what Bevo has brought in since he come in, and the guys that we have here, we feel strong about this. We feel like it's from a player's perspective that we'll, you know, we believe in this message and trying to, you know, we're out there in the community going to schools all the time. So we're dealing with kids and trying to promote a great message. We've got a few guys that are dads on the team. So it's about, you know, sending that right message to the kids that we're dealing with on a daily basis in the community, and then also with our families. It's unique in sporting to be able to come to a Perth Wildcats game and have a healthy message out there and not be worried about the messages that may you know, down the track have effect on even your own kids. So it's you know, it's a privilege to be a part of an organization like this.
Yeah, there are other sporting codes, unlike the Wildcats, who've had the courage to do this and commit themselves, and it's a genuine commitment. I think everyone gets that today, don't they? There are other sporting codes who have not been able to make that commitment. It may well be their players feel just like Sean does, but you know, the organisations above them have signed big contracts that last 10 years with at the liquor industry. for ongoing sponsorship. So whenever I hear those stories, and I know that there are kids who haven't even been conceived yet, 10-year contracts, kids who haven't even been conceived yet, who'll be still experiencing the influence of alcohol in sporting codes in this state and this country, makes the Wildcats stand out as leaders way ahead of the pack.
Nick, what does it mean for the alcohol that will be sold at the stadium for spectators?
Look, all we can control is all we can control, you know, and this is something we always say on and off the court. We can control what we can. This is a battle against what was big drugs and big tobacco, and we're really battling big alcohol. Okay, no one out there is making fizzy alcohol drinks out of some benevolent need to change the world. This is about multi-million-dollar big alcohol. Our goal is to say to young kids, don't be a victim to this massive multi-billion-dollar, you know, manipulation of your future. Reclaim your future, and I think that's what we're arguing. There will always be someone selling alcohol as much as there will always be someone selling drugs and selling tobacco. All we can control is all we can control.
Do you have an expectation on your players then?
My head coach, Rob Beveridge, has an expectation on all of us, and so do I, on how we behave. Alcohol consumption has never been an issue in my 7 years. And that's why I revert back to our original point, is that our values have always been this way. This is just a good fit.
Just on what Glenn was saying, will alcohol still be sold at the stadium? There's no part of the deal that says you can't.
I don't know of any stadium in the world that doesn't sell alcohol. I think that day will be a very great day to see, but it would be reasonable to expect alcohol will be sold at the stadium.
The issue is not about hospitality. The issue is about big alcohol, as you describe it, using sporting codes to promote and sell product. Okay, hospitality is one thing. The other thing is marketing. The reason that alcohol, just like tobacco used to be, is wants to be so involved in sport at a marketed advertising and sponsorship level is because they know that attracts the young kids, that they're shaping impressionable minds, they're making an impact, they're getting brand recognition, they're building on their culture, which will mean market sales. So hospitality is a separate thing that's not a problem. It's the other bit.
The $1.5 million investment, how does that compare to other investments in sport that Healthway made?
Yeah, Healthway has been around for 20 odd years and has been investing in sport for a very long time, and the total number of dollars per year and over that period of time, we invest something like $12–13 million a year at least in sport in WA. So there are varying contracts. Some of them are small sponsorships depending on the need. Small clubs, we go down to that and sponsor them, and larger contracts such as this one for bigger groups. So we invest all our money over that period of time, and Healthway has pushed out ahead of tobacco to start off with, to push tobacco out of the community, I guess, and we know the big changes that have occurred over time. And now we're really focusing on the harm that alcohol and junk food is having on our young people in particular. And knowing that both alcohol and junk food use sport to market, we're sort of buying them out.
How does that, from going on from that, in terms of other NBL clubs, is this one of the biggest sponsorship deals around the league?
It is, but can I also say that Healthway, in the way they're doing this, and Western Australia are leading the country. In fact, the work that Rosanna and David Malone, the CEO of Healthway, have the new ground that they've charted has been the benchmark for federal programs, starting with an announcement that I expect will come out in the next few weeks, if it already hasn't, where they will sponsor major sporting leagues across the nation to send out similar messages. So whilst we're at the forefront of this, the rest of the world is catching up with where we are heading in this way. In terms of a sponsorship, this is a pretty big deal for us. This is also, I would say, a benchmark across the league.
We asked you about the stadium. From reports today, it hasn't been secured. How close are you, or are you still a little bit away?
We're still negotiating, as you would expect us to do. We want to play there for many years to come, and this is not something we would take lightly. So we're working through it with the venue, and I don't believe it would be reasonable to say much until there's nothing really to say until there is something to say.
Is it hard though to negotiate when you've already said you're going there, you've got 4,000 fans already signed?
Well, I think in principle everyone wants us to play there. I think when you build such a beautiful stadium, and it really is, we've had a tour just on Monday of what a spectacular stadium. This will be the highlight of this city. It will be the start of a new breath of fresh air into our city. So it is just a process we're going through.
100% you'll play there this season?
I have no doubt.
Okay.
Anything else? Once again, thanks everyone for coming here today. I know there are 2 other presses on. I really appreciate you being here. Thanks.
You are so spot on.
Thanks, Rosanna. Cheers.
Thank you very
Thanks.
much. Great work. Well done.
Yeah.